Hi everyone, thank you so much for watching this video. So, by the title, I'm pregnant again. So, my second pregnancy, my first baby, so my son Torbjörn, he is now 14 months old. And I am currently just over 13 weeks pregnant. So it would be about 20 months in between them if I have done the months and calculations right. So yeah, I don't know where to start really. Obviously super excited, super grateful. It's been a bit of a different pregnancy this time around compared to the first one. I've had a lot more morning sickness and like all day sickness. So like 24/7. Obviously feeling like nauseous, feeling like I'm gonna throw up all the time. I haven't thrown up, so I haven't vomited, which is I'm so grateful for. But I've been like having so much ginger. Ginger has been my best friend during those days that it's been so bad, and like having snacks all the time, like every 90 minutes, like dry biscuits, drank a lot of water. I've had maybe not too many more cravings this time around compared to the first time, but I've probably given in to a lot more. Like just normal lollies and like not so healthy cravings. Same this pregnancy in terms of craving a lot of soda water, a lot of red apples, quite a lot of lollies, and hot dogs. That's how I figured that I was actually pregnant, because I was craving hot dogs, and I'm normally not someone who opts for hot dogs or like sausages. I don't think that they are really beneficial for you, and just don't really go for them for a dinner alternative for the family. But that is kind of the first giveaway. And if you look at the dates for like those cravings when we were like, I'm pregnant, and to like how far I am now and how big the baby's measuring, I would have been almost 2 weeks pregnant when we thought I was pregnant. So we thought I was pregnant so early on, which is crazy. But it also probably made it that we had to go through a lot of uncertainty with the pregnancy, and that is a whole big reason why I wanted to make this video. I was planning on like doing different videos, but it just becomes too complicated for me, at least, who's not used to make a lot of videos. But to explain it, because I was googling the shit out of Google when we did our first ultrasound, and we saw nothing. So it was, if I go back in the beginning, so we thought I was pregnant, so I did a pregnancy test, and it obviously, if you have done a pregnancy test before, you know you should have 2 lines on the pregnancy test. I had the 2 lines, but the second line was only very faint. And I googled first, you know, what does it mean? And according to Dr. Google, you should probably never do that. But anyway, I googled it, and it normally means that it's very early on in the pregnancy. You're still pregnant, but it's early on. So we went with that. I did another pregnancy test the following day, just to kind of be sure. Same thing there, just a faint line on the second one. And then a couple of days later than that, we went to the GP to do another pregnancy test, just to kind of reconfirm that I was actually pregnant. And yes, it came back positive, I was pregnant. And we got the like ultrasound remittance advice, prescription, the piece of paper you need to go and get an ultrasound. But before then, obviously, like they ask when you have your period first, and I have only had my period once after having Torben, which was in March. I went to the doctors in June. So obviously that meant that I could have been like 9-ish months pregnant or less based on that. So we had kind of no idea. So that's why we had to do this ultrasound. So we did the ultrasound just a few days after, and it was nothing. The sac that you have when you're pregnant, so obviously your body creates the sac, and then you have the yolk which you develop, and you have the yolk, so it's like a round ring if you look at the ultrasound, and it was nothing in there. So you need to have like a fetus pole, I think it's called. It's like at least like a little stick inside the yolk, like inside the egg. Or something, or like obviously like a heartbeat or something bigger like the fetus, or so, but it was just nothing. It was completely empty. So during that ultrasound, it was quite kind of a little bit heartbreaking, because even though I'd never experienced this before or really knew or have heard about it before, the guy that was doing the ultrasound, he wasn't too good at kind of masking it. Like obviously they're not allowed to tell you what's happening and complications, or like they can't tell you too much because they are not your doctor. They're just literally doing the images, but just based on like how he was acting and not saying anything and kind of just referring back, hey, speak to your doctor kind of thing. He was like an instant heartbreak, and I just knew that this is not good. This means that it's probably not a baby. Kind of thoughts everywhere. So again, went back to Dr. Google, as you do, and I started to Google and research, you know, empty, like nothing on the ultrasound, empty sac, empty yolk, and also like in conjunction with, can it still be a viable pregnancy? Am I still going to be pregnant? Am I still going to have a baby? I think I was just constantly searching for the hope of still being pregnant, instead of what it's in most cases, a miscarriage. So miscarriage is just that the body hasn't realized that you can't continue the pregnancy, so you're still kind of developing the pregnancy symptoms, you're still developing everything to a certain point, and then the pregnancy stops. So I read a lot of blogs, I tried to search for a lot of videos and so, and I didn't find too much at all, and those that I found was mainly those who've had miscarriages or ended up in miscarriages, or yes, not a viable pregnancy, so like a miscarriage, which is what it's called if the body don't get it, that it's not going to survive or develop further. So yeah, that was a little bit heartbreaking in itself. So went back to the doctors a couple of days later after that, and she said the same, so she kind of confirmed what Dr. Google said. She also said that, you know, don't rule anything out completely, however please don't get your hopes up, because it's not often that it will result in a viable pregnancy when the images looks like this, when you're measuring like this big, and so on. It's a quite emotional kind of experience. I went on to an observation, as they call it, which means I had to go and do blood tests every 2 days, because every day, or like 20 to 30 hours, your pregnancy hormone should double, and if it doesn't double kind of each day, that's also a sign that the pregnancy is not going to lead anywhere, it's going to stop, it's not going to develop further, and it's not going to be a viable pregnancy. So I did that for about for a week, which was in itself very draining. Had to go to different, because my everyday life is kind of back and forth, like different places all the time. So like travel, and so he said to go to like different pathologies, and so to get my blood tests done. So even that was like stressful in itself. But anyway, I did that for a week, and then had another appointment with the GP, and she looked at obviously the hormone levels, and they had not even doubled throughout the week. Well, I think they had doubled across the week, not by each day, if that makes sense. So she was just, please do not get your hopes up. This will probably not be viable pregnancy. It's not completely ruled out yet. It's just very much like all the tests, everything on paper, like the evidence, are saying that it's not going to be a pregnancy. It's not viable. So she referred us to the private hospital, to an amazing doctor who we went and saw, like first meeting, went and saw him, and at that meeting he was going to go through like what we'll do if it's like confirmed that it's not a viable pregnancy, like what the different options were. Of course, I've asked Dr. Google what my options were in terms of like medically treating it to get rid of the pregnancy, or naturally, or operation. I think that's the 3 different ones. Anyway, so we went and saw him, and had a little chat first. Him too said that, you know, according to the tests, according to everything, it's just not going to be viable pregnancy. However, let's have a look. So he got like an ultrasound machine at his office. So jumped up on the table before this appointment. Me and Andrew had just been like, okay, cool, I'm not having a baby this time. It's just not meant to be. We have a lot of other things going on in our life now, so it's just not timing anyway. So we were okay with the fact that it's not a pregnancy. And then I jumped up on the table, and he saw a heartbeat, and it was just there. So it was definitely a pregnancy, still alive, because now it's developed the heartbeat. You could see it obviously as well. He said that the heartbeat is perfect. He said that, you know, based on that, everything is fine. At that time, it was measuring, if I remember it right, 5-ish weeks. Yeah, but then he has said, because it's so early on, based on your hormone levels not increasing as much as they should be doing, again, don't get your hopes up. He even said that I did not expect a heartbeat right now. Like, it's just nothing that indicates that it should be a heartbeat there. But let's just roll with it. Congratulations. You know, he printed out a little photo of the little bean that was inside there, and we both went out. Me and Andrew just both went out and like, what? We're actually getting pregnant? Like, we're having a baby? It was like getting the news of being pregnant again. We were like, okay, cool, but then we don't want to be too happy, because we were like, maybe it's not going to make it, and you don't want to kind of go all in with feelings and everything, and then it's just not going to make it. You want to protect your feelings. But yeah, we went home, rescheduled for another 2 weeks. This appointment, again, he has warned us before we jumped up on that ultrasound table that he's like, I don't think that this is going to, you know, maybe go the way as it's going. Oh, he didn't actually say that before. He said it after. So we jumped up there, The baby had developed exactly what should be for during the last couple of weeks. It had grown as it should for those 2 weeks, which was amazing. And he said again, did not expect that. Did not expect that. So we were stoked, obviously, that it had developed, and we were like, again, oh, we're pregnant. Because again, we've just been like kind of reserved our feelings about, oh, are we really having a baby or not? And then a couple of weeks later, did another appointment. Right before we did the harmony test, I believe it's called, to just get some more answers about having any like chromosome, you know the word I'm trying to say here, like abnormalities, and that's also a test that would tell you if it's a boy or a girl. We got it back completely fine. Everything indicates for a totally healthy, happy baby, with no abnormalities, as well as being a boy. So we're having a second boy. Ultrasound, we did another staging scan like this week, like on a few days ago, 3 days ago. And everything seemed super happy. They did like a prolonged dating scan to really measure everything, make sure that got 10 fingers, 10 feet. No, should not have 10 feet. 10 toes, 2 feet. Yeah, everything seemed fine. So I'm now over 13 weeks and miracle baby. That's pretty much what everyone have said, all doctors and nurses and GPs, and we even had some like not volunteers, like doctors to be. Oh my god, I don't know what's called. Like apprentice coming in as well. Everyone was like, no, it's not going to be viable for pregnancy. Everything on paper is completely showing that it's just not going to be a baby. But we proved them wrong. At least so far it looks all happy and healthy. So now, if anything goes wrong, it's nothing to do what we started out as being. At least that's what we're told. So fingers crossed everything will go fine from now on. So that was my story about not having or finding any baby or any sign of a baby at the beginning. I'm sure I'll do like another kind of update Q&A kind of thing, especially with questions that I get through Instagram. If you've got any questions, because I love to share my journey this time around a lot more than I did with Torbjörn, because even going through these first few weeks of having these kind of the tests and the stress and just feeling like it's nothing out there, I just want to make sure that I'm putting out things there and just connecting with other mums and mums to be, and yeah, I think it's a great opportunity to document the journey for myself as well. So if you've got any questions about this second pregnancy, let me know in the comments below. I'll see you in my next video.